Well, welcome back, everyone. This is Cheryl with Bluegrass Dreams to Seams, and today we're going to talk about shirt tails. Tails as in two stories. One is made out of pink shirting that I purchased at 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 Let's Sew in Evansville, Indiana. I think it was up there in first 2 weeks of June, somewhere in there when I bought this, and I managed to finally get this cut out the first week of August. And I really like the shirt with one exception, and we'll get into that. Now, when you sew with style art patterns, this one is called the PheobeOvershirt. You have minimal directions. I thought if I could see the direction sheet, I'd show you. It literally lists them in steps, and there'll be usually a picture sheet with some diagrams on it about some of the steps. They really are for experienced sewers. Now, this is probably my third or fourth style art pattern to make. I like their patterns, but that is one thing I will say, it's for the experienced sewer, not someone that's just starting. I didn't have to worry too much about matching these little stripes because this is cut that way, and you know that I just didn't worry about it too much because they are tiny. The seam allowance is 3/8. So what I chose to do on the inside was I folded the seam allowance back in on itself so I could whip stitch that closed and keep those from, I didn't want to do a serge seam. I just didn't, I don't know, I'm getting to where I hate serge seams. Don't like them as well. They don't look as polished. I've learned that, I think, from watching some of the ones I love to watch on YouTube. They usually will do things that are a little different to hide the raw edges, like Hong Kong finish, or they're folding the seam, like doing a, what do you call that? Flat felled seams. I do that a lot. So, your French seams, I used to do that a lot when I was sewing in my younger days. Yes, my younger days. And so, I'm really, really pleased with this shirt. Now, it was supposed to have a hidden button placket, but I did a shirt a couple of years ago with a hidden button placket, and it is hard for me to button that thing, so I chose to just not do that. I cut off that part. I made my left and right bands, I used the same line to cut them, is what I'm trying to say. So that is about all I want to say about the shirt itself, except for these cuffs. I don't like this band. I really have a problem with this band. I've done several little things to try to keep it. I'd like to keep it. When it's just like being worn and it's down, it's pretty, like on the model. That's pretty. And I know this is probably meant for really a younger person, not somebody like my age. But, I like things that are just a little bit different. And these cuffs were a little bit different. I don't have a problem with deep cuffs. I've always loved deep cuffs. I think this band is getting ready to come off. And these buttons are going to get sewn. I'm actually going to make buttonholes in this end, and I'm going to button it like that. Just button it right here on each side. So that's all I have to say about this shirt. It's comfortable to wear. I love it. It's not too hot. This fabric's not too hot. It's amazing. This fabric is hot to wear right now. This one didn't bother me at all. Now, I don't remember the days being that much different in temperature. I wore this one Sunday and that one the next, and I've even worn this one again, and I was not uncomfortable. Now, I was going to wear one of them to Evansville this past Friday, and it was going to be 93, and I said no, I wore a dress. Yeah, I was much more comfortable. Now, so that's the Phoebe Overshirt. It just needs some modifications. This shirt is by Berta. This pattern right here, 6908. I used this one. And I decided to cut the longest version. I really didn't need that. I could have cut the middle length and been fine. But it's already cut, it's already made. I don't think I'll really end up shortening. I think I'll probably leave it alone. I bought the fabric at 2 different stores. It's Robert Kaufman. These 2 came from one store. This came from another store in Nashville. And the buttons came from Tuscan Rose in Paducah. Now, whenever I make something black and white, I cannot resist to add a touch of red. So this is just a flat piece of fabric that's folded over in half. I'm wanting to say it's about 2 1/4 inches. It may be like 1 3/4 inches. But anyway, it's folded over. The main thing is you want to decide how much you want showing. And your 5/8 is doubled, because it's 5/8 seam allowance. Your seam allowance is doubled, plus ever how much you want folded over showing. So when I played around with the fabric, I felt like I needed at least that much. Now this was not easy to do. This was my 3rd attempt to get it more evenly across there. It's fairly even. The first time, oh my goodness, there was so much red showing in, like, right in here and over in here, and very little showing in other places. I just looked at it and went, oh, that looks terrible. So I ripped the whole thing off and tried again, and I got a little closer, and I said, let's rip it off again and try again. And I got much closer and said, you know what, we're just going to go with this. It looks fine. I also added red right here. The seams on this one, I chose to, because they were 5/8, I chose just to fold the seam back under. So here is where the original seam line is, the stitching line, and then I folded the raw edges under and top stitched. So that's how I chose to finish side seams as well as underarm seams. And a close-up of the buttons, just so you can see how well. Isn't that cute? They're so cute. And I love the little touch of red. I also want to do Hong Kong finish on this shirt and this shirt, where the sleeve is joined to the body of the shirt. So I have yet to do that. When I get ready to, both of these were sewn in white thread. So when I get ready to tackle this, I'm going to do that one day this week, I will do the Hong Kong on that one as well as the Hong Kong on this one. Now, I do have one other thing that's under the needles. Well, it's not really under the needle on the machine anymore. It's under the embroidery needle. I'm doing some hand embroidery, just playing around, having a little... The other thing I made, and I'll have to link this website in the below. I know it's called Sewing Something, but I can't remember the second part of that. I was perusing through Pinterest, which is a very, very dangerous thing, and I ran across this little bag pattern for a market bag. And I thought, well, I would like to have some of these. This would be great for the farmer's market. I found my fabric at Hobby Lobby, and I went and bought it. When they had the 40% off sale, I went and bought this. Excuse me. And it's got like these encased seams, so you encase the raw edge seam. You know, you sew so much, and then you wrong sides together, and then you flip it right sides together, and you stitch encasing that raw edge completely. Unfortunately, with this fabric, it's not polyester, it's not nylon, that's what the pattern calls for. It makes this very thick. You can see how thick that is, because you've got this double right in here, and getting a needle to go through that. I ended up having to loosen my stitch length to a 3 to stitch all the way around. Now some people like to sew all the time on a 3. I don't always do that. sometimes, not always. But this was top stitch with stitch length of a 3. The corners here are reinforced. There's a stitching. I went back and forth 2 or 3 times, maybe 4, to make sure that it would be stable. Now, I have used the one that's finished at the grocery. I wanted to test it. So we went and we just picked up a couple of things. A half a gallon of milk turned on its side in the bottom. It carried the weight fine by the handle. Half a gallon juice carried on its side, be fine. The reason I'm saying on the side is it's going to tip over anyway, so you might as well just, but don't put both. Both was a mistake. It was too much weight. I could tell it was too much weight. So if you did that over a period of time, you probably would eventually rip the handles from the bag. Produce would be fine. Your lighter weight dairy products, fine. I would not put meat, packaged meat in this. No. Frozen, it's going to get wet, but it would be fine. So that's my take on this bag. And like I said, I will link this website so that if you want to make these, you can. Easy, takes about 45 minutes. Other than that, knitting a lot, because I'm down sitting with my mother and I get a lot done. I'm on my 4th pair of socks for this summer. I mean, it's just easy, you know, and I've almost got another pair of socks made. They'll be made by the end of this week. Started a sweater, another little pullover sweater, and I will do a knitting episode when I get some more things done. Other than that, I think that's it for me. I have really, really enjoyed getting to put this together for this video. I was very excited about this one. And you all have a very blessed week. Happy Sunday. And I'm going to try to get this uploaded. And it's like Friday Sews on Sunday. Where Jen says it's Friday Sews on Saturday. Mine's Friday Sews on Sunday. So have a good day, rest of the day. And have a very blessed week. And I'll see you soon. This is Cheryl with Bluegrass Dreams to Seams.